Black Flag Activity Report, Estrella. Estrella had been on bond out of Phoenix, Arizona. At the time of his bond revocation, he had been on bond for over a month. Ephraim's original charges were drug-related and included charges of drug possession with intent to distribute, money laundering, and operation of an illegal enterprise. Ephraim was a known drug dealer and had apparently been in a gang for over a decade. This information was not immediately made known to us by the bondsman who hired us to take him into custody. We had to look it up after the fact, after realizing that the person we were dealing with was not your typical criminal. We had originally gone to the apartment Ephraim was staying in the night before. It was his baby mama's apartment and she had multiple kids living there with her. The night before, we stopped by and spoke with his baby mama and she informed us that E was not there. That night, she had willingly opened up the door and spoke with us. However, when we came back the following evening, she did not open the door right away. We had to knock hard. We call this a hard knock. Imagine that. When she came to the door, she was upset and told us that E was not there. We asked her if we could check the apartment and she said no. This was the first red flag. After showing her a right to enter agreement, an agreement that she had signed, she reluctantly allowed us to search the apartment. We entered the small 2-bedroom apartment and made our way to one of the bedrooms. E, knowing that we were going to catch him, came out of the back room and met us in the hallway. Once I was a couple feet from him, a distance that could be closed quickly, I asked him to turn around. He said no and told me to get the fuck out of his apartment. We reminded him that there were children in the unit and not to escalate this situation into something that would frighten them. Ephraim didn't care. He didn't care about anyone but himself. He gave that look like he was contemplating running or fighting, so I arm dragged him. He resisted, forcing me to push him into the wall. E was reaching into his pants where we later found out he had a pistol. We had to use underhooks to lift his arms to keep him from grabbing the weapon. My partner deployed a taser and it had little effect on him. In fact, it shocked me instead. That's kind of an understatement. It shocked the living piss out of me. This is one of the many reasons I don't like tasers. I hip tossed E to the ground, and at that point we were able to get the cuffs on one of his hands. Securing that hand and using underhooks on the other, we were able to get cuffs secured. At this point, baby mama and the children inside the apartment were screaming. We secured the firearm and one of our agents removed it from the unit. We asked if there was any other firearms inside the apartment and E's wife told us no. Ephraim wasn't in the mood to talk to us. Can't blame him considering what had just happened, but we weren't too impressed with him either. Once E was cuffed up, we settled the family down and left the apartment quickly in order to retain some peace inside the unit. We did not want his kids to have to see their father in handcuffs regardless of whether or not their father cared about their safety and well-being. Clearly he did not. We got E in shackles at the transport vehicle and headed down to 4th Ave Jail in downtown Phoenix. While in transport, E was randomly moving around in the back seat. He said his cuffs were bothering him and he was adjusting himself to get comfortable. After the third time of jostling around, things started to seem off. So we started paying attention to him. And by that I mean we pulled the vehicle over and leaned him forward to see what he was doing. That's when we saw it. A handcuff key that he had clenched up in his left palm. While we were taking the key from E, he leaned forward and latched onto one of our agent's shoulder, biting down and causing our agent to yell in pain. After a brief tussle, we were able to remove the key from E's grip. He reluctantly let go of it after having a wrist lock applied to his left arm and wrist. Once the little biting episode was over, we laid E down on his belly so we could see his hands for the remainder of the trip down to county. Ephraim wasn't happy and went on to tell every single one of us he was going to kill us. Once the threat subsided, I asked how he got the cuff key. We had searched him and had obviously missed it. E went on to tell us that for the last 30 days, he had been taping a handcuff key to his upper left buttocks in preparation for the event that he was arrested. Smart move, but only kind of smart because his plans failed and he ended up hogtied with a spit hood on. When we originally got the notification from the bondsman to pick him up, the only thing we could see was his current charges. We had to look up his criminal record in order to find the gang ties. This is why when doing this type of work, it is important to work for people you can trust and a bondsman who puts together good files for people. Bond companies like Nice Guys Bail Bonds in Phoenix, Arizona. Most bond companies just blatantly ask their recovery agents to go out and pick somebody up. This can be dangerous for all involved if the proper information is not identified or made available to the agents. When we pick up people, there are a few questions we ask, which include, are there kids in the house? How big are they? What are their charges? Where do they live? Who do they live with and or run with? These questions might seem trivial, but trust me, this type of information can help you make the right decision and save your life. It also helps keep innocent people who might inadvertently be involved safe, other people like children. Ephraim was processed into Maricopa County Jail and is currently serving out a prison sentence in an Arizona prison.
These stories are real-life accounts of real people. It's never our intention to promote violence.
We are professionals and act as such in the field. We do actually care about the people we pick up and treat them with respect. The names of all people involved have been changed in order to keep their identity from the public and safeguard their privacy. Oftentimes, we are picking people up at their own family's request to either keep that family safe from that individual or to secure their collateral from being seized by the courts or the bondsman, things like homes and vehicles. Once again, we do not promote violence of any kind, and we do believe our world would benefit from more love being in it. So be respectful and always do your best to care for others. Thank you for watching.